As a pastor in a public speaking role, oftentimes I have to introduce people to congregations, and sometimes I'm invited to speak and someone is introducing me. Sometimes introductions are helpful and go well, sometimes they're not. When I was on the evangelism committee for the Texas Annual Conference, I would be invited and sent out to churches who were struggling with growth, and I would come and offer a training on how to welcome visitors and be hospitable and to track visitors and follow up with them. And I always got introduced in different ways. There was one church that I was sent to that had been struggling for years, and in talking with their superintendent, she recommended that I come out and talk to them. And so I did. Here's how I was introduced. This guy here is the one that the DS is making us listen to. Apparently he's going to fix all of our problems. I don't think this is going to last more than 2 hours, so all right, go ahead. That was not a good introduction. And you can imagine how well the training went after that. But then there was a little church up in East Texas that asked if I could come out and help them. And the woman who was running the program was so sweet and so nice, and she stood up in front of her leadership of about 6 people, and she said, Reverend Powers is on the evangelism committee for the annual conference. He drove all the way up here from Baytown on his day off because he thinks we can grow. And so I'm glad you're here. Let's make the most of our time together. You see the difference. Introductions are really very important. So here's a question I want you to think about. How would you introduce Jesus to the rest of the world? If you were the one making the introduction, what would you say? We're going to talk about introducing Jesus to the world this Sunday in the gathering, which meets in Covenant Chapel. We're going to read together out of the very first chapter of John, where John the Baptist introduces Jesus to the world. And after some time talking about that story, we're going to get to talk in different groups to each other across the table and share our own insights and our own reflections. I am looking forward to introducing the gathering to you and teaching about introductions this Sunday. The gathering begins at 9:15 to 9:30 with a time of fellowship. Our lesson time begins at 9:30. Anyone is welcome to come to the gathering. If you're able, we'd love for you to make an RSVP so that we can properly set the room up for social distancing, and you can do that on the website. But if you don't RSVP and you're curious, stick your head in the door, because if we have room at the table, that space is for you.